Dudes, it's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So we got another episode of This Week in Warframe. We're going the entire weekly reset. And yes, the 12th anniversary has began. So we have current alerts going on and new alerts starting on Friday, as well as a new resurgence starting on Thursday, and the big Infested Lich update finally coming out next week. So let's get right into it. But before we do, make sure you sub to this channel. We do daily Warframe video uploads, build videos, news videos, weekly reset videos like this one. You're in the right place for Warframe content. I appreciate all the support of the recent videos. We're also live on stream right now if you want to come on, stop by. We're going to be new AX52 augment tonight. Alright, first weekly reset item. We got 50k Kuva Teshin for 55 steel lessons. Technically a deal compared to how much he usually gives you that Kuva for. Yes, so we do have some alerts going on right now in Warframe for the 12th anniversary first week, but if you already knocked those out, you've got some new anniversary alerts next Friday. And the elite alert for this week is going to be the Exilus weapon adapter. Next week, we got some good stuff starting up. If you are looking to have a double XP weekend, you're going to also have access to that too. So starting on March 14th at 11 a.m., you're going to have a double XP weekend going until March 17th at 11 a.m. as well. And also the Dex Abaris will be here and the Excalibur Dex Glyph. So, beyond that, you've got, if you watched my video from yesterday, Ash Prime is going to be going back in the Resurgence Vault.
I'm going to offer you something special. Just remember, one per customer.
Ash is going back to the Resurgence Vault, and he's getting reworked. So if you don't have Ash Prime, you might want to get Ash Prime in the next couple of days. Additionally, Anaros is getting vaulted too, but don't worry about that too much. Saren and Nidus are returning on Thursday and are going to have, the Aya in rotation. You'll be able to get Saren Prime for the new Proto-Saren skin. Over here at the Dorma Zone, you got a Melee Riven and Companion Riven for Pathos Clamps, as well as an Orokin Reactor Blueprint, 5k Kuva, and a secondary Archon Adapter. Pretty decent Riven selections this week to grab for Pathos.
Nothing tickled your curiosity?
Keep in mind, on the 19th, we are going to be getting a new weekly called the Elite Temporal Archimedea. So if you don't actually have rank 5 with the Hex Syndicate, and you want to get access to all the weekly missions that will also give you Archon shards, make sure you get rank 5 the Hex Syndicate basically the next week and a half-ish. Looks like we got the 1999 inbox message as well, which we will check that out later on stream. Got the Kalimos version. So another thing about these weekly resets that you hopefully are doing is going to be the calendar stuff. So over here, these buffs and loot drops will be helpful to you for the Infested Lich. And since they're starting on the 19th, basically 10 days away from right now, these buffs that you're getting from this will be active during the Infested Lich launch. So think about it pretty carefully which ones you want to grab. Okay, so as far as your calendar buffs this week, you got a resource drop chance booster or 2 arcanes as your first loot drop. And then for your buffs after that, you can get Harden Up, increasing overshield cap by 50. Kills give 50 shields. That should be pretty good. A decent option for running through Exterminates and Infested Lich missions for that matter. Next one. Thick Skin. Get 250 extra armor. These enemies are going to be dealing toxin procs through your shields in the new content, so think about maybe grabbing that one for some more survivability on your health. And the last one, Punch card for Quincy, giving punch to their primary weapons. Not as useful as these other two for the Infested Lich missions coming up in about 10 days. After that, you get a 6k Endo drop or a singular arcane. And then you'll have access to another drop of XP booster for 3 days, which, by the way, you can save this until the double XP weekend and then claim it at that day if you want to. And this will stack with the event booster for 4 times XP or an Exilus weapon adapter. After that, you got the buffs of Combo Killer, giving you a chance to do finishers on melee hit, depending on how much combo you have. Or Hit and Split. Critical hits get increased attack speed and movement speed by 5% for 10 seconds. This is nice, but if you are maining rocket launchers and stuff like that, it only works on melee hits, so be careful about that. And then the last one, Targeted Medicine. Shoot health orbs, pick them up. Health orbs have a chance to become duplicated when picked up. So as far as which one would be the best of the Infested Lich here, it's going to be either Hit and Split or probably Targeted Medicine here, I'd say. As Combo Killer shouldn't be really doing finishers on Infested Liches. Got Letty's birthday after that, and oh my gosh, DE is doing it again. So these Aura Forma are in the calendar again. And reminder, these are going to be coming Omni Forma in the new update. So you can either grab a guaranteed Riven or a guaranteed Aura Forma, fully built. I'd recommend the Aura Forma, honestly. Great stuff there. And for your last page of stuff here, oh my gosh, DE is just showering us in this loot constantly. We got a green shard on the calendar again, or another 3-day XP booster. You got 2 XP boosters available. If you didn't grab the first one, or didn't grab that one, vice versa, you also got a green shard guaranteed too, which is a combination shard. And then after you destroy a tank, you could get the last drop here, which is going to be power gains from Owie, giving you power strength. Bottled lightning from Amir, giving electricity on all weapons, which is really good, actually. And the last one, sonic feedback, basically an AoE rad proc when you take damage. I would say as far as the best infested lich bust to grab, power gains is good, but also bottled lightning is an effect you can't normally get through modding, so I'd probably say go for bottled lightning. It's very good for taking out lots of enemies. And for the last drop here, you got a singular arcane or an Exilus weapon, or Exilus Warframe adapter. Okay, so pretty good buffs to the first week. Let's go ahead and move on to some other weekly reset stuff. Let's go ahead and take a peek at the Archon hunt, actually. So we've got the red Archon shards available from the Wolf Archon, with the mission types being Sabotage, Excavation, haven't seen that in a while, and the Final Boss Showdown. Moving on to the EDA. Reminder, there will be another version of this when the new update comes out. That will be like basically the exact same thing, but on the Hex tile set. And yes, it is also technically daylight savings time. You might be like, why is this video like an hour and a half later after Gaz usually puts out the videos? It is because it's daylight savings time, and the reset is actually 1 hour later than it was like last week. Don't you love that stuff? They just randomly throw that at you. Alright, so moving on to the EDA. Let's see what we got for these missions. Okay, so for the EDA, we've got Disruption, Exterminate, and Survival. As far as the modifiers, for Disruption, you have Double Demolishers, which means 2 Demolishers spawn, they're easier to kill. Devil's Bargain, allies within 4 meters of slight enemy gain increased fire and lose ammo faster. And the last one, Rupturing Fragments to replace Shuffling Fragments. Really, really easy first mission. For the second mission, it's another freebie at Exterminate. Enemies only take 10% damage, or they take 9% less damage when you don't do a weak point hit. Straightforward enough. Hostile Regeneration, enemies slowly regenerate health. And the last one, dog robots charge their attacks and pull Warframes towards them, the Rogue Arcanids. Really, these are some really easy first 2 missions for sure. And we're going to be appreciating this when the ETA comes out. We have basically double the amount of missions to grind here. And the last mission, Survival. This one might be a little bit annoying for solo, just keep that in mind. Life support system is disabled. Necromechs will spawn every 90 seconds. Killing them will drop life support modules and kill. I actually like this modifier. It's pretty fun. But yeah, the one that you have to activate the towers by enemies dying nearby them, I don't like that one at all. So thankfully it's not here this week. But yeah, no life support towers will spawn. Next one, Vampire Liminus. The Vampire Liminus will chase you down, and they will drain your health and energy if you get too close. Be careful about those guys, especially when you're focusing on these mechs. And the last one, Fortified Foes. Guardian Eximus spawn will appear, and also Guardian Eximus mechs can appear. Honestly, a pretty easy EDA in my opinion. As far as your individual modifiers, Lethargic Shields means you basically don't have shield regeneration. Frame Curse Syndrome, activating ability will deal damage to you. Knife Step Syndrome, moving will deal damage to you. Jumping will pause the effect. And Energy Exhaustion, you lose 2 energy per second for each enemy within 10 meters of you. So really not that bad modifiers compared to how bad they could be. So a pretty much free EDA this week, especially when I see the Furus Incarnon on here. Good stuff. And the Kuva Jacket too. Nice. Alright, moving on to Bird 3's Guaranteed Weekly Shard.
What do these do?
Let's see what he's got for us. Get an Amber Shard of Bird 3. Reminder, this is going to require you to have rank 5 with the Kavia Syndicate access to this, but yeah, it's a weekly shard you grab from him for 30k rep. Which is really not that much if you just do a couple bounties. Alright, let's move on to the circuit. Let's see what kind of, hopefully, really good Incarnons we have this week. If my memory serves correct, it should be some of the best guns in all of Warframe available this week. Okay, so let's start with the normal circuit. Alright, for the normal circuit, we've got Gara, Korra, nice, and Revenant. Now, as far as where these frames come from, I'm just going to tell you right now, get Korra, okay? You do not want to farm Korra the normal way. You want to farm Korra here. It's much, much better. Like, as far as where they come from, Gara comes from low-level Plains bounties. Revenant comes from higher-level Plains bounties. And Korra comes from normal Sanctuary Onslaught. It is a lot more annoying to farm Korra normal. I'd recommend you grab this before you even think about the other ones. As far as the other frames' helmets, though, the helmet ability of Gar is Spectral Rage. The helmet ability of Revenant is Reeve, and the helmet ability of Korra is Ensnare, a very, very good ability. So grab Korra, and even if she's going to be, getting reworked and stuff like that, getting at least her helmet and her normal frame far enough for mastery could be good. And also, while you're leveling up, if you get lucky, get Accumulating Whip Claw, it's a very good augment for Korra. We got to the Steel Path Circuit and the Incarnons. We have some really good stuff this week. And actually, I've got a video coming out for one of these weapons that for level 10,000 you might not expect. But as far as if you already have these Incarnons, you can grab Kuva or Ribbons instead. Now, as far as a full review on all these Incarnons, we got the Akenbrut Incarnon, Soma Incarnon, Vasto Incarnon, Nami Solo Incarnon, and the Burston Incarnon. Now, there's a big variance in the overall, easy mode power level of these Incarnons. So when I go over these, just reminder that there's two of them that are a lot stronger than the other ones. Let's start with the first one here. We got the Akenbrut Incarnon. This thing, once it goes to Incarnon form with a 6x multiplier, will be able to launch spectral axes during aerial attacks and slide attacks. They're like mini Exodia Contagions, but emphasis on the word mini here. This is probably one of the least used Incarnons in all of Warframe, I'd say, the Akenbrut. But as far as the perks, you can get a bunch of crit chance if you want to. It's got good damage. You can kill Acolytes in one hit with this thing, but yeah, it's not really used that much. It's a clunky feeling sword and shield. Now, it gets big base damage upgrades, 150 base damage from these perks. But yeah, do you want to be doing air attacks or slide attacks to release a Spectral Axe? To me, I don't want to do that. It's also not the biggest AoE on those Spectral Axes, so you can definitely put this one as a low priority option this week, unless you really like Sword and Shield, or Sword and Axe, I suppose. Another one that is not viewed the most positive, but I actually kind of like it, and we'll have a level 10,000 video on this one this week, is the Soma Incarnon. Once you get some headshots, you can enter Incarnon form, which goes into a multi-shot / rifle situation. Unfortunately, though, it increases your status chance, but it also lowers your critical chance and your fire rate if you go into Incarnon form. So when I show my video for this week, I'm using the Incarnon form and the non-Incarnon form at level 10,000. They can both get the job done, but funny enough, I actually kind of like the normal form of this better than the Incarnon form. So if you want to just focus on the non-Incarnon form, these perks give you some upgrades at least. 12 damage increase from Fortress Salvo, increased reload speed or whatever you feel like on number 3. And for the final tier, you have some options here. Zeroing gives crit damage. Fresh Havoc gives base damage. This thing, the issue with the Soma, it has such low base damage. It has good crit, but then when you go to Incarnon form to get more multi-shot and stuff, you lose your crit. So I don't know why they had to do that. But yeah, we'll put out a video on this later in the week. It's usable, but it is not top tier. Top tier stuff is definitely going to be later in this list. But yeah, if you want a full auto rifle that could go into a multi-shot slash weapon, feel free to try it out. It's a decent enough weapon, I suppose. Vasto Incarnon, an extremely single-target, hard-hitting pistol here. Once you go to Incarnon form, you will fan the hammer and release 6 bullets rapidly, like pretty much instantly. You get 4 bursts of the Incarnon per full Incarnon magazine, and 1 burst can take out a level 10,000 Demolist relatively easily. So, good stuff there. If you want to grab the Vasto Incarnon, you just have to remember, though, it is a very single-target situation. So, and just like some of the very hard-hitting pistols in this game, Death Trap Trigger is available, which, when you swap from your primary to this, you will do tons and tons of extra crit chance and crit damage. So it's a swap playstyle. You basically proc them up with your primary, swap to your Vasto, blast them away, then you basically lost all your Incarnate ammo, you have to do it all over again. So, wouldn't recommend it as your main DPS source. It's more of your single-target DPS source. So yeah, if you basically have like this, and then maybe like an AoE weapon like the Nami Solo, that'd be a decent loadout. But if you don't want to go all your eggs in one basket of single targets. So because of that, it's going to be a low recommendation. But yeah, if you want a single target weapon, it's very, very good at that specific job. Next, Nami Solo Incarnon. One of the 2 big Incarnons I would recommend this week as far as if you want the best of the best stuff. Why is this thing so good? Once you reach a 6x heavy multiplier and do a heavy attack, you will get greatly increased range, as they put it, which is 3 meters of extra range. That could be good because there's an arcane called Melee Influence that basically lets you do AoE elemental procs. So you use this really long range machete, hit enemy 12 meters away, and then 20 meters around the enemy, it's a AoE elemental proc. So you could basically have like a 30 meter AoE melee if you stack it all up properly. So range ribbons, range mods, elemental mods like electricity, very, very good on the Nami Solo. I actually sold a ribbon for this thing like 8,000 plat a couple weeks ago, and that person hopefully is having a good time with it because I was having a good time with the ribbon when I used to own it too. So as far as some of the top perks in here, just get a bunch of status or crit, And yeah, pretty much just that's it. You're focusing on just using this thing as a long-range melee. Not exactly the most exciting in my opinion, but the fact it has so much range and is very smooth to use, the attack speed set up to, it feels good to use. But some players might not like it because it's a little bit on the more boring side. If you know what you're doing though, it's very, very strong. So like probably the second recommendation this week. And for the number 1 recommendation this week, why is the Soma viewed so poorly? It's probably because of this thing right here, the Burst Incarnon. Once you get some headshots, this burst fire weapon becomes full auto and will shred through enemies like a machine gun. Not to mention, you get a lot of ammo too. You get like, I think it's like multiple hundred bullets easily with the Burst Incarnon, and 1 bullet's enough to do, put an enemy at level 10,000 in the ground. So yeah, good stuff on that. The Incarnon perks ain't too shabby either. We've got built-in extra multi-shot in the final burst of magazine. We've got big crit chance increases. We've got, weapon recoil reduction. The big thing about this thing is you would not think it does as much damage as it does, but it does do so much damage. So you can go check out some recent videos if you want to check that out. But yeah, probably one of the strongest primaries in all of Warframe when you mod it properly. It's not even that hard to mod properly. So as far as what the best Incarnons are this week, number 1, Burstin. Easy level 10,000s. So much ammo. You can main the Incarnon form. It's so great. And number 2, Nami Solo. So much range, so much AoE with melee influence. It's not something I use on a daily basis, but a lot of players do really, really like this thing. And I've used it enough I can understand why they like it as well. So those are the first 2 that you should grab. Now, if you already have any of these, number 3 would probably be the Vasto or the Soma, with number 5 being the Akabrunt, because no one really uses it. Not to say that you can't use it, but yeah, no one really does, so do you want to be the person that uses it? Feel free to try it. All right, I hope that was helpful to you guys. Let's move on to the Nightwave. And I will have the new AX52 augment video out tomorrow morning, okay? Let's see what I'll be doing to grind up this last couple of levels for that AX52 augment. Okay, so we've got the first weekly, complete 3 assassination missions, straightforward enough. Conservation, complete 3 perfect animal capture or battles. If you watch my Ivar video from last week, you'll be able to do that in probably 30 seconds. Oh boy. Complete 8 zones of Sanctuary, Elite Sanctuary Onslaught for the first Elite Weekly. Fun. And then Rise of the Machine. Kill 300 enemies with your mech without getting destroyed. As far as the best spots for that one, I believe Corpus, Railjack Survival are pretty good for that. Conjunction Survival on Luba is also good for that, and other various spots where you can basically summon your mech for an infinite amount of time. In your permanent weeklies, Activist Eliminator, Mission Complete, and Not a Warning Shot. For your cred store this week, let's see what we got. All right, your evergreen stuff at the top as per usual. You got a Varuna helmet, which is always nice to see, and various helmets that you might like. Moving on to the aura mods, you've got Physique, Sniper Scavenger, Loot Detector, Dreamer's Bond, Enemy Radar. As far as the best ones to get here, Enemy Radar is pretty useful, so probably that one. You got Critical Precision for the Tiburon, and Comet Reload for the Tigris. For Mastery Fire weapons, you got the Dark Sword and the Jaw Sword. And for Conclave mods, you got Singularity, Deceptive Bond, Brainstorm, and Recharge Barrier. Unfortunately, Singularity cannot be equipped while you have a Simulate already active. And that's pretty much your entire weekly reset, guys. Lots of good stuff that's not really directly tied to the weekly reset, but also lots of good stuff in the weekly reset itself. So you get that aura form, get that green shard, get those calendar buffs when the Infested Lich launch comes out. You'll be hopefully a little bit stronger when they come out, and they look like they're hitting pretty hard, so be careful about that. But before we call, let's do one last look at these Invigorations, which are random per player per week and require the Invigoration segment to unlock this. Okay, so I've got a Invigoration for Jade, giving ability duration and reload speed. Good stuff for Jade. Less recasting is always nice. For Kalervo, I've got parkour velocity and secondary damage. Not exactly the most synergistic with Kalervo, but still pretty decent at the end of the day. And the last one, got melee damage and energy rate for Banshee. Not sure if I'll be really using Banshee in the next couple of days or next week or something like that, but I'll definitely be using Jade a lot because I actually like to play Jade quite a bit. So, hope you guys found this video fun, helpful. I'll see you with the AX62 augment video tomorrow morning. And yeah, come on, stop with the live stream if you haven't already. All right, guys, take it easy. Peace.